all about Disney World's deluxe resorts and villas. This is Go Inform Podcast, episode 60. Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to the Go Inform Podcast. My name is Maven. I'm your hostess here on the show and happy to have you with me today. Today, we are going to talk in more detail about the Disney World resorts. Particularly today, we're going to talk about the Deluxe hotels and the Dvc Villas that are available as some of your choices when you stay on site at Disney World. So this is a continuation of a series that I'm bringing to you guys all about staying on site at Disney World. So if you haven't already listened to the previous episode, number 59, I do recommend that you might want to start there. I talked a lot about the different types of resorts that you can find at Disney World, why you might want to stay on site, a lot of the perks that are available to you. And also we talked about how to decide and start narrowing down your choices of where you want to stay. So that is episode 59. You can also check out the show notes for this episode and that one. It's one big, huge guide to the Disney World resorts, and that you'll find at goinform.net/60. If you'll recall from what we talked about last time, Disney has about more than 24 resorts on the Disney World property for you to choose from. And they have all different price ranges, all different types of amenities and theming. So there are a lot of things to sift through when you're trying to decide where to stay. And today what we're going to do is look a little closer at the hotels that they consider their deluxe hotels and also their villa properties. So just a quick recap about what this category is all about. The deluxe hotels are really the flagship hotels at Disney World. These are the luxury properties. These are the 5-star resorts that are on site at Disney World. The deluxe hotels are going to have your biggest rooms, your most amenities. This is where you're going to find things like room service and fine dining. And also the deluxe resorts have some of the best locations in terms of their proximity to the theme parks on the property. Now, the Dvc Villas, a lot of the villa properties are actually on the same sites as the deluxe resorts. So that's really why I'm combining the villas with the deluxe resorts here, because a lot of the information is shared. If you're staying in a villa at one of the deluxe resorts, you're going to have all the same amenities and activities and pools and all that stuff as if you're just staying in a regular room. The Dvc Villas are condo-style units. The DVC is the Disney Vacation Club, which is Disney's timeshare program. When Disney has free space, timeshare units that are not going to those owners, they will put those into their hotel room inventory. So anyone can stay in the Dvc Villas, and you make a reservation just the same way as you would for an ordinary hotel room. But the villas are apartment style units. So these can be anything from a studio with just a little kitchenette all the way up to a 3-bedroom condo with a full kitchen, multiple bathrooms, washer and dryer, and everything in between. The villas can be a fantastic option for anyone, really, especially if you're planning to be on site for more than a couple of nights, because you get the kitchen space and you get more space for your group because you're going to have, like some kind of a sitting room as long as you're going anything above a studio, then you're going to have a separate bedroom and often multiple bathrooms. So the villas are really something I think everyone should consider. And so we are going to be talking about where you can find those villas on the Disney World property. All right, so I mentioned a minute ago that there are a lot of hotel options at Disney World. And just in the category that we're talking about today, there are 7 deluxe hotels that have villas also. And there are also 3 DVC Villa only properties. So we're going to talk about 10 different places. And what I want to do for you today is just give you a quick sketch of what each of these resorts kind of feels like, looks like, and some of the basics like what park they're closest to, how do you get around from there, and what kind of theming you're going to find at each resort. So we're going to start with really what Disney World considers their top-end hotel, and that is the Grand Floridian Resort and Spa, and this also has the Grand Floridian Villas. The Grand Floridian Resort is a beautiful property. It is located right next to Magic Kingdom, and it is a very luxurious property. The Grand Floridian sits right on Seven Seas Lagoon, which is the lake that's in front of the Magic Kingdom. The Grand Floridian is on the monorail line, so there is a monorail that loops between Magic Kingdom and 3 different hotels. So Grand Floridian is one of those hotels. The Grand Floridian is also now has a walking path to Magic Kingdom. So depending how quickly you can walk, it's a 10, maybe 15-minute walk to the front gate. So if you don't want to wait for the monorail in the morning, for example, you can just walk over to the Magic Kingdom now. The Grand Floridian is known for its beautiful architecture. It is a Victorian seaside resort is the theme. Inside the amazing lobby, you're going to find a place where you can have afternoon tea. There is a famous restaurant inside the Grand Floridian called Victoria and Albert's, which is considered one of the best restaurants in Florida, actually. The Grand Floridian also has a spa. So a lot of the luxury touches here. In terms of location, as I said, it is right by the Magic Kingdom. Now, one thing you should know about Disney World is it's a very large property. So when you're by Magic Kingdom, it means that you are going to have a little distance, miles distance, to Epcot, Hollywood Studios, and you're going to be the farthest away from Animal Kingdom when you're in this end of the property. So if Magic Kingdom is your priority for your trip, then this can be a great location. If Animal Kingdom is your priority and you plan to go there multiple times during your trip, this may be a bit of a distance for you. But in terms of getting around, Disney has free transportation to all the parks and Disney Springs provided to anyone staying on the property. And actually, even if you're not staying on the property, you can use their transportation to get around. From the Grand Floridian, your transportation options, you've got quite a few. First off, getting to Magic Kingdom, as I mentioned, you can walk, you can take the monorail. There's even a little boat that goes across. To get to Epcot, there is a monorail to Epcot. You just take the monorail that goes in front of the Grand Floridian, and you just have to transfer onto the Epcot monorail. So that's another way you can get around. Otherwise, you're looking at Disney Bus to the other parks. So if you don't do the monorail, you can take the bus down to Epcot and Hollywood Studios and Animal Kingdom. The Grand Floridian has a pool that looks like a beach. It's got a big long water slide and another quiet pool. You can get the fancy suites at this hotel if you want to really go all out. You can also get a room, just a typical room that's got a view of the Magic Kingdom, so you can watch the fireworks from your room. The Grand Floridian, as well as really all of these deluxe resorts, has club level available also. So you can stay club level in these hotels. It gives you access to a lounge with continental breakfast, complimentary drinks, and desserts and stuff like that. And also a special concierge service to help you book dining reservations, special tours, and things like that. Pricing on all of these deluxe resorts, this is going to be comparable to a very high-end hotel anywhere in the world. So you're looking at prices at the Grand Floridian, you're probably looking at least $500 a night for your room rate, but there are often special deals and ways to save some money. And it depends on what time of year you travel. But you can kind of consider that the price range for all of these deluxe resorts is at least $400 a night and going up from there. Let me just touch on the villa options as well. Here at Grand Floridian, there are DVC Villas available, so you can stay at this beautiful resort and get more than just a hotel room if you want that kind of apartment or condo style of lodging. So you're going to see that at all of these resorts where you've got that option. Okay, so let's hop on the monorail and we'll go to our next destination, which is the Contemporary Resort. So the Contemporary is one of the original hotels that was built when Disney World opened. It has this very cool sort of mid-century modern design, and the Contemporary is the hotel at Disney World that the monorail actually runs right through the lobby. So you don't even have to go out the door to get on the monorail. It stops inside the lobby of the hotel. And you can also just hang out in the lobby and watch the monorail going by right through the hotel. So this is very cool. This is a very Disney kind of touch. The Contemporary is more of a high-rise design, and it also has a second building called Bay Lake Tower. The Bay Lake Tower is where the DVC Villas are located. Both buildings have rooms that look out onto Magic Kingdom, so you can watch fireworks from your room, which is very cool. There is a restaurant on top of one of the towers that looks out over Magic Kingdom. It's called California Grill and is very popular, especially in the evening, because you can watch the fireworks while you have your dinner. It's very fun. Contemporary is another hotel, the other hotel, that you can walk to the Magic Kingdom gate from your hotel. It's even a little bit quicker. It's a tiny bit closer than the Grand Floridian. It's probably only 5-minute walk from walking out of the hotel and walking up to the gate at Magic Kingdom. So super convenient. You can also take the monorail over to Magic Kingdom. You can take the monorail over to the Transportation and Ticket Center and hop on the Epcot Monorail too. And just like Grand Floridian Center right next to Magic Kingdom, just know that you're in that corner of the property. So if you want to be spending a lot of time down at Animal Kingdom or Hollywood Studios, you do have a little bit of a longer bus ride to get down there. But your location here compared, being right next to the Magic Kingdom is really pretty amazing. Okay, and then there's one other hotel on this monorail loop, and that is the Polynesian Village. So Polynesian Village is, you guessed it, it's South Seas themed. This hotel is actually closed right now for a refurbishment. They're adding some Moana touches to it. So it's going to have a Moana theme added kind of on top of the Polynesian theme that's already there. Polynesian Village is really charming, has some great touches, and is also known for one of the most fun lounges in the Disney World property, which is Trader Sam's Grog Grotto, which is a cool old sort of kitschy tiki lounge kind of place. Very fun. The Polynesian is on the monorail loop, so you can't walk to Magic Kingdom from the Polynesian, but you can hop on the monorail right there at the hotel and get into Magic Kingdom. And you can also take a boat across the Seven Seas Lagoon. You can watch the Magic Kingdom fireworks from the beach next to the hotel there. So you still really get that feel of being right next to Magic Kingdom. And again, in terms of getting to the other parks, you can take that monorail over and connect to the Epcot Monorail, and you're going to be taking the bus over to Animal Kingdom, Hollywood Studios, and Epcot if you choose to go that way. Polynesian Village has a swimming pool, it has a volcano and a waterfall and a water slide. So really themed pool. They also have historically had a luau style dinner show, and I'm sure that will return as the hotel reopens. Notable room types at the Polynesian. Polynesian has some DVC villas that are overwater bungalows in the style of like the Bora Bora overwater bungalows. So you can actually stay in your own overwater bungalow here at the Polynesian. And Polynesian does have the villas in its regular property as well. So you can choose to stay in a villa here also. So those are the 3 hotels that are on the monorail loop right there next to Magic Kingdom. So the next hotel we're going to go to is the Wilderness Lodge. Wilderness Lodge is in the Magic Kingdom area, but it is really on its own forest, basically. So Wilderness Lodge is on the shores of Bay Lake, which is a really big lake on the property. And the way you get there from Magic Kingdom is on a boat. So they have like a water taxi. It's about a 15-minute boat ride to take you to and from the Magic Kingdom. And then getting to all the other parks will be a bus ride. The Wilderness Lodge is built to look like a grand old national park lodge in the Western United States. So think about like Yellowstone, the big lodges there. The lobby is unbelievable inside the Wilderness Lodge. It's multiple stories high. It's built with looks like a log cabin kind of thing, only huge. It has a big fireplace. There's always fire going in the fireplace, so you get that wood smoke smell. It's just got this wonderful rustic feel, but still like very luxurious. The lodge is pretty sprawling, and the grounds are forested. So you just get this real sense of tranquility when you step onto the property at Wilderness Lodge. It's pretty hard to imagine really that you are just a 15-minute boat ride from the hubbub of Magic Kingdom when you stay here. So this is a good place to consider if you have somebody that you're traveling with who needs some quiet time and doesn't want all the Disney all the time. The Wilderness Lodge really has this elegant yet rustic feel to it, and you definitely feel like you are not right next to a theme park when you are in this hotel. Wilderness Lodge also has over water or right next to the water cabins, which are similar really to the overwater bungalows over at the Polynesian. So if you want to do something where you've got your own little house, you can get that. That would be one of the villas. It's called the Copper Creek Cabins, and you can reserve those through the reservation system also. Wilderness Lodge also is kind of part of, adjacent to, another property that's called Fort Wilderness, and that one's categorized as a moderate. So we'll be talking more about Fort Wilderness in the next episode. And don't forget, you guys, all of this information that I'm giving you, this is in the show notes. So you don't have to write all this down while you're listening to me or try to remember it. Just go over to goinformed.net/60 and you will see my listings of all the hotels with all these kind of highlights listed there. I've also got links to the Disney website so you can dive deeper into, seeing pricing and stuff like that. Also, I'd like to mention, this is a quick overview, but if you really want to dive into the details about these hotels, if you want to know, how many pools are there, how big are the rooms, what are the square footage, all that kind of cool details. My go-to resource for that and what I recommend is the Unofficial Guide to Disney World. Get yourself one of those books. It's got tons of information about the hotels as well as all kinds of other stuff. It is well worth the $20 or whatever you're going to pay for a copy of the book. And the Touring Plans website, which is at touringplans.com. This is operated by the same team of people that has tons of information as well and can help you really plan out your trip, even your touring plans for the parks and stuff like that. So the Unofficial Guide, the Touring Plans website, those are things I really recommend that you check out when you start to dive in and you want more details. Okay, so now let's keep going on our tour. We are going to head over to the Epcot Resort area next. Epcot is a few miles away from Magic Kingdom, and it really has its own sort of resort feel around it. Epcot and Hollywood Studios are on either ends of a long canal. So when you're talking about a resort that's close to Epcot, it's probably also pretty darn close to Hollywood Studios. And we'll talk a little bit about transportation and where things are in relation to each other here as we go through. So the first resort I want to tell you about down here is the Yacht and Beach Club. So these are actually technically two different resorts, the Yacht Club and the Beach Club, and villas. The Beach Club has the villas of this property. They have two different names. They have slightly different theming, but they are right next to each other. They share a huge pool complex, which is basically like a water park. So if you are planning to spend time at the pool, you are going to want to look at the Yacht and Beach Club for sure. There are a lot of reasons that I think these are some of the best options for anyone that's looking in this kind of deluxe category. One of the main reasons is its location. So the Yacht and Beach Club are within they're about a 10-minute walk to the International Gateway entrance to Epcot. You can take a boat also to get over to Epcot, and you can also take that same boat and get down to Hollywood Studios in just a few minutes. So this is very centrally located. The pool complex is called Stormalong Bay. It has a lazy river. It looks like there's a pirate ship that's wrecked. It has a 230-foot water slide, and the property actually has 3 more pools, like quiet pools, around. The area where the Yacht and Beach Club is located is part of a larger development that's called the Boardwalk. There's also another deluxe resort called Boardwalk that's kind of across the little lagoon or canal that's right there, which we'll talk about in a sec. But so you've got a lot of options for places to eat, things to explore all around this area. And then in addition, you've got Epcot just a short walk or boat ride away. This end of the Epcot park is where the World Showcase is, which is like the best place to have dinner in Disney World. There's just every kind of food and it's really fun to explore. So it's nice to be staying near that end of Epcot because you can just hop in, especially if you have a park hopper ticket that allows you to just go into Epcot after you've already been in another park. You can go in, have dinner, and just walk back to your hotel. The beach club has the villas, so you can also have villa options here. And because you're close to Epcot, not only do you have the convenience to get over to Hollywood Studios, but you're kind of centrally located in terms of distance out to the Magic Kingdom and the Animal Kingdom. So your transportation out to there is going to be bus. But you've got walk or boat to Epcot or Hollywood Studios. Near the Epcot entrance there is also a stop for the Disney Skyliner that can take you down to Hollywood Studios. So lots and lots of options for getting around. And then, as I mentioned, on the same kind of general area is the Boardwalk Inn and Villas. The Boardwalk Inn has sort of a turn of the century Atlantic City vibe. So it's like an old timey boardwalk is the facade and the theming here. The boardwalk has a carnival themed pool with a 200-foot long water slide. The boardwalk has some of the most unique villa options at Disney World. They have some villas that are like little townhouses. They're 2 stories. They call them the 2-story garden suites. So it's like you have your own little house. So those are very cute over at Boardwalk also. And because of the location, it's really kind of across from the Yacht and Beach Club. Same kind of convenience to both Epcot and Hollywood Studios from here. And then the nice central location in terms of getting to the other parks. And then the last of the deluxe resorts, in my opinion, is certainly not least. This is Disney's Animal Kingdom Lodge. So Animal Kingdom Lodge is, of course, located near the Animal Kingdom theme park. And it is themed in a really cool way. So the lodge is designed to look like a grand safari lodge in Africa. Lots of rough-hewn wood, open fireplace, and windows out to the savannah that surrounds the lodge. And in the savannah, there is free roaming African wildlife. So there's giraffes, there's zebras, there's funny little birds. There's a whole bunch of different animals roaming in the backyard of this hotel, basically. And if you choose to get, and you have to, if you're staying here, get a Savannah View room right outside your window, you can watch the animals. These rooms have a little balcony, so you can, have your coffee in the morning and just watch the animals have their breakfast. It is super cool. If you're an animal lover, you are going to love it. You're going to want to sit there and watch those animals and not even go to the parks. So if you want to take some days off and not do the parks the whole time, this is a fun place to stay. There are also some cool tours that guests of the hotel are able to do to get to learn more about the animals and see things up close. So a lot of neat things right here on the property. Animal Kingdom Lodge has its own villas. The villas are in a neighboring property called Kidani Village. So if you're looking at this on Disney's website, Kidani Village is where the villas are. There might be a few villas in the actual main lodge, but the Kidani Village Lodge is also very cool and has a great restaurant. So if you end up staying there, don't feel like you're being relegated. You're just in a different building. And even though I think Animal Kingdom Lodge is one of the coolest places to stay at Disney World, I do want to tell you that you need to know that the Animal Kingdom is pretty far away from everything else at Disney World. And it's especially far from Magic Kingdom. I mean, you're going to be taking the bus to all the parks if you stay at Animal Kingdom Lodge. And the distance, it's probably at least 20 minutes, probably more like 30 to get from your hotel at Animal Kingdom Lodge up to Magic Kingdom. So if you are traveling with little kids and you want to be able to go back to your room in the middle of the day and take a break and then go back out, if you're going to Animal Kingdom a lot, then this is fine. But if you plan to spend a lot of time at Magic Kingdom, it might not be very convenient for you to stay down here. If you're going to Hollywood Studios and Epcot, it's not as far, but still, this is kind of isolated out in its end of the property. And Animal Kingdom is the only park that you can't walk to. So even if you're staying in the lodge, you will have to wait for the bus to take you over there. It's only 10 minutes probably on the bus, but you will have the experience of having to wait for a bus and not just be able to walk to the park. So those are just a couple things you need to keep an eye on for Animal Kingdom Lodge, but really it's its own destination. I have stayed there a couple times and I just love it there. But I also really love animals. So it just depends on what you're looking for. But I really do suggest you at least look into it because it's a super cool place to stay. So that covers all of the deluxe resorts. We're going to get into the other properties that are DVC Villas only here in just a second. But I do want to take a second and mention, because this is January of 2021 when I am recording this, and you guys need to be aware that if you're planning to travel to Disney World in the next probably 6 months or longer, that a lot of stuff is closed. And, if you are planning to travel during that time frame, you probably already listened to my episode about Disney World during COVID. If you haven't, make sure that you do check it out. But the thing is that the capacity is very limited in the theme parks, and therefore there just aren't that many guests on the property. Now, one of the ways that Disney is coping with this is to not have every resort open. So what you're going to see if you go into their website to book a hotel for the first half of 2021, some of these hotels that I'm telling you about right now aren't going to be available. But I can tell you that you can find villas on all of these properties that are open. So Disney is trying to keep the DVC owners happy by making sure that they have options. So the hotels, some of these hotels are closed for reservations right now, but you can still stay on the property if you stay in one of the villas. So just a quick list of what is closed right now. Now that I've told you about all those places, the hotels, the Beach Club, the Wilderness Lodge, the Polynesian, the Boardwalk, and the Animal Kingdom Lodge right now are not accepting reservations. The Beach Club is supposed to reopen as of May 30th, 2021. The Wilderness Lodge, June 6th, and the Polynesian, the summer of 2021. Boardwalk and Animal Kingdom Lodge, we don't have a reopening date yet. If you're traveling in the second half of 2021, you probably will have a lot of options. At some point, all this stuff's going to reopen and be available to you. And I want you to know about it because I think that right now, a lot of us are just in the planning stage. We maybe don't even know our date yet that we're going to travel. And by the time you do travel, you will have these options. But just a heads up and a little note for you guys that are listening from the future. Hopefully none of this is a problem for you. And you're looking back and saying, wow, what a time that was. But anybody that's looking at this at the beginning of 2021, just be aware, not all of the hotels are open, but you can get onto these properties by staying in a villa. And you will see that when you get over to the Disney reservation links, which are in the show notes. If you want to check it out that way, you'll be able to tell what you can book and what you can't. Okay, so now let's jump into the villas because these are available to you. And there are 3 different properties that are only villas. So again, a villa is anything from a studio, like kind of a big hotel room, all the way up to multiple bedrooms, like a big condo. So first one I want to tell you about is the Riviera Resort. The Riviera Resort just opened at the end of 2019. So it's been open a little over a year now. So this is their new all villas resort. It is a high-rise design, and it's themed like the European Riviera. So it's very elegant, a lot of elegant artwork inside the building and outside, some beautiful mosaics here. And also the location has its own stop on the Skyliner. So Skyliner is also opened in 2019. So this was designed to kind of work with that transportation system. The Skyliner will take you straight over to Epcot or down to Hollywood Studios in just a few minutes, and it's a really fun way to get around. I did do an episode about it back maybe 10 or so episodes ago. You can scroll through your archives to check it out. And so Skyliner is how you're going to want to get probably to Epcot and Hollywood Studios, and then buses to the other parks. The Riviera is considered an Epcot area hotel. It is not walking distance to Epcot or Hollywood Studios though, but it is in that kind of central Disney World area, which means it's not too far to get over to Animal Kingdom or Magic Kingdom from this part of the resort. One of the cool things about the Riviera is that since it's a high rise, it's got a rooftop restaurant, so you can watch the fireworks at Epcot and Hollywood Studios from up there. So that is a very cool feature of the Riviera. Next on the list is the Saratoga Springs Resort and Spa. Saratoga Springs has a 5-star spa on its property. It's also next to a golf course. Theming over here is like the Saratoga Springs racetrack. So it's kind of a turn of the century horse theme. And it is on a beautiful grounds. And this, again, is all DVC property, so you've got all the different options for the villas and the multi-bedroom villas and all that kind of thing. Saratoga Springs is located on a river that runs down to the Disney Springs Shopping and Entertainment District. So you're going to take the bus to get to the theme parks, but you can hop on a boat to head down to Disney Springs, which is a really nice way to get down there. One of the coolest types of villas in the whole property of Disney World is at Saratoga Springs. You can rent a 3-bedroom treehouse villa for your stay. These are super cool. They literally are elevated off the ground. They're kind of like octagonal shaped, and they are out in the woods near the river here. So if you really want to take a group of people and have totally your own space at your resort, consider getting one of these treehouse villas at the Saratoga Springs. And then the last one on our list today is the Old Key West Resort. Old Key West is designed to look like Key West beachside in Florida, and it's also next to the golf course. Old Key West is, I believe it was the first DVC property that was built. It's been updated and renovated, of course, since then. But one of the things that Old Key West is known for is that it has the biggest villas on the Disney World property because it's a little bit older. The rooms were bigger. So, and it doesn't have an extra price. You're going to pay probably the same thing for a comparable villa at Old Key West as at Saratoga Springs, but Old Key West is going to give you a little more space. So if you are looking, I have to say too, that if a villa is something that you want that space, but you're not you don't necessarily need to be able to walk to a park. You just want a nice resort and plenty of space. Old Key West is usually your best value for a villa at Disney World. And sometimes you can actually get a 1-bedroom villa at Old Key West for the same price as just a regular hotel room in one of those monorail resorts like the Polynesian or the Grand Floridian. And I've said this kind of before in the last episode, don't pigeonhole yourself into a certain category of hotel, and also don't pigeon yourself into a certain category of room, because the villas sometimes can be more economical than doing one of the hotel rooms when you're in this kind of deluxe price range. So take a look at it, because it might actually give you more than what you expected for your money. Okay, so that is a quick overview of the deluxe resorts and the villas at Disney World. Be sure to check out the show notes. Go over and bookmark that post or get it on your Pinterest board so you have it for reference. Again, it's at goinform.net/60. Next time around, we're going to talk about the moderate resorts. There's a whole bunch of those to talk about too. And let me know what questions you have. Comment on the post in the comments, or let me know through Facebook or Instagram, because I'm really happy to answer your questions. And I know I am leaving a ton of stuff out here. So reach out to me and let me know. And you can find me on social media at GoInformNet. On Instagram, on Facebook, and on Pinterest. So be sure to get over there and follow along and let me know what you think. And thanks again for joining me today. And next time, we'll talk about the moderate resorts. Have a great day, guys.